Hi, I'm Logan D. Smith for Opinions Subject to Change, here to talk about 2018's Tomb Raider. But first, this video is not sponsored by the Streamlight Stinger. It's a super bright flashlight that's also super tough. That's way tougher than you. I'm just kidding. You're tough too. Lara Croft is a broke bicycle delivery person that's not great at boxing. Not quite sound like what you expected. I think that was on purpose to make her more acceptable to the social justice crowd and more relatable to the average viewer. The super privileged rich white girl is really so done. But it doesn't really play out because it turns out Lara Croft is a super rich privileged white girl. She's just reluctant to use her family money because her dad disappeared about 7 years ago and she doesn't want to sign the papers that officially state him as dead. So she does eventually have to go sign these because at 7 years, even if she doesn't sign them, he's declared dead anyways and she'll lose everything. So when she goes to sign those papers, she's distracted by a puzzle left by her dad that leads her to some clues as to where her father may have went. So Lara sets off on her fantastic adventure to chase her father's breadcrumbs. Tomb Raider doesn't shy away from its video game roots, drawing plot and scenes directly from the 2013 video game. This film is more like an origin story for Lara Croft than the previous Angelina Jolie movies. Lara is not the same character in this movie as the previous movies. So if you're a big fan of the character Croft in the previous movies, you may not really like this one. I think, though, that Alicia Vikander does a good job playing Lara Croft on her first big adventure. I do wonder, though, if there were a sequel, how she would do becoming the tougher and more experienced Tomb Raider. Vikander has the graceful movements of a dancer that don't quite fit the rough and tumble adventurer that Lara Croft is destined to become. Much like the game it's based on, Tomb Raider has lots of action moments where Lara has to climb, jump, and fight her way through. For me, someone who's played the games, the moments are great fun. They are sometimes a little over the top, but let's face it, Tomb Raider is an action-adventure movie. It's not where you go to see a realistic portrayal of life as we know it. It's where you go to find great scenes, lots of cool locations, exciting action, and be engrossed in surround sound. For me, there's one big problem with Tomb Raider, though. Lara is on a mysterious chase with clues and puzzles. But we aren't. Lara has to complete several puzzles through the movie, but we usually don't get to see how they work, or get enough information to make guesses or speculate on how to complete them. We see her doing puzzles, but we don't get to experience it with her, which is kind of a big letdown. Getting wrapped up in the mystery and trying to figure out is often one of the most fun parts of adventures. And it's missing here. Tomb Raider is an action-adventure, not a mystery movie. Also, occasionally characters, particularly the villains, make some questionable choices, but these don't hurt the flow of the film too much. Now, if you've seen the Angelina Jolie character of Lara Croft, you may be wondering, how is she sexualized in this movie? And the answer is, she's not really. Lara Croft is always dressed appropriately for her situation, and there's no shower scenes or anything like that. There is moderate coarse language that's occasionally cut short, but violence is where this movie gets serious. There's a lot of violence. And there's one particular death that's brutal and lingering. There's also heaps of corpses and skeletons and some pretty nightmarish moments. I really like Tomb Raider, and I would be happy to see a sequel, though I have little hope for that. I give it a 7 out of 10. It's a fun time if you aren't too attached to the previous entries in the franchise, but keep the kids away. And if you're looking for more details, you can find them at my blog at logantsmith.ca. Thanks.